Hi, it's Steve from PartSelect. Today we're going to show you how to change the lid switch assembly on your washer. And it's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a putty knife, a 1/4 inch nut driver, and a pair of wire strippers and crimpers. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, since we will be working near some electrical circuits, we will need to disconnect the power from the washer. So simply pull the plug. Then we'll take a stiff putty knife and we'll come in about 3 or 4 inches on either side in that gap between the front panel and the main top. And you'll feel a obstruction there, and that's a spring clip that holds that front panel to the top. So we're just going to push our putty knife past that spring clip and then just pull out slightly on the front panel. And we'll do the same on the opposite side. And we can tilt the front panel forward and we'll lift it off the base where there are 2 clips that the front panel sits on. Now we can set that aside. Next we'll remove 2 1/4 inch screws that secure the main top to the cabinet. Now with the 2 retaining screws removed from the front, we're next going to remove 3 1/4 inch hex head screws from the back panel that secure the console. And we can tilt that console towards us and slide it slightly to the right to disengage 2 mounting tabs. Now we can lift up the main top slightly on the front and just release the 2 clips at the back. And we can set that just far enough aside that we can reach in underneath and release the locking tab for the lid switch that mounts it into the lid. And you can take your putty knife and just depress that locking tab. And that will allow us to lift up on one end of that lid switch assembly. We can turn it sideways, push it down through the opening, and then we can remove the main top and the lid. Now that we've exposed the lid switch, we'll see that the harness is fastened to the top of the cabinet with some little retaining strips. We can release those enough that we can manipulate the harness. What we'll have to do is cut the old wire harness and then we'll install the new switch, shorten the wires up to that length, and then we'll use butt splice connectors to reconnect it. So next we'll just pop these little retaining clips out just to give us a little more room to work with that harness. Now the replacement lid switch comes with extra long leads on it, and we don't need to use all of those leads. It's easier to connect that up in this area. So we'll peel back some of this electrical tape. And then we'll just find a convenient spot here to reach in and cut that harness. And then we can stagger the 2 cuts just slightly. Now we'll want to reuse this little retaining clip. So we'll peel as much of that electrical tape off of there as we can, and then try to pull the harness through. Now if need be, you can just snip it off right close to that connector. And then try to wiggle that through the opening. And if you can get a small jeweler or screwdriver in underneath that little locking tab on here, you can pull that loop completely out. We'll discard the old switch. And we're going to cut the harness on the new switch We'll discard the excess wire. And we'll strip back the insulation, about 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to do the same with the harness attached to the machine. Take care when cutting back that insulation that we don't cut into the copper. And as we cut these, we can twist them so that they're nice and tight. Next, we'll take some butt splice connectors and attach them to those wires. We'll make sure that we insert that copper wire fully into the butt splice connector and crimp it nice and tight. Just give it a nice tug to make sure that we have a good connection. Do the same with the opposite one. So we'll take our lid switch assembly and we'll twist those copper strands so that they're nice and snug. I've managed to pull that wire tie back through the opening enough that we can insert both wires through it. Now we'll take our crimpers again and we'll insert the switch end of that wire into our butt splice connector, and we'll crimp that nice and tight. Again, we'll just give a nice tug on it to make sure that we have it secure. We'll repeat that process with the opposite wire. Now next we're going to take some electrical tape and we're going to tape up those two butt splice connections to make sure that no moisture can get into that area. Then we'll also run a little length of electrical tape along the excess harness there so that it doesn't chafe on the top of the support bracket. So just hold the two wires tightly together on that tape along the length, fold it over. That'll just add a little extra protection to the wire. And we'll reconnect the retaining clips on those wire ties. Now we're ready to put the main top back on and locate the new lid switch assembly into the opening on the top. Next, put our main top back in place. So we'll just lay it sort of in position here, and then we'll fish that lid switch up through the opening. We'll have the wire end of it facing towards the front. Once we pull it up through there, we'll slide that little tab in until it locks into place, then snap the back end of it down so that it locks onto the main top. And next we'll line up the little slotted openings at the bottom back edge of that main top over the corresponding little hooks on the cabinet. And we'll push that back into position and just lift that console up. We can then replace the two longer 1/4-inch hex head screws and secure that top to the cabinet. Next we'll line up the two tabs on the console with the two slotted openings on the top. Insert those and then slide it to the left so it centers up. Then we'll make sure that the back panel and the end caps stay aligned. Just hold that in place and put the center screw in first. Then put the two remaining screws in. And again, make sure that the end caps are flush at the end of the console. We'll next put the front panel on. We'll line up the slotted openings in the bottom lip of that front panel with the two little hooks attached to the base. We'll make sure that these locating pins, there's two on each side, will line up with the round holes in the cabinet. And as we tilt that front panel into position, we'll make sure that these four locating tabs line up with the round holes in the front panel. And then we'll just snap the top of the front panel in so that it engages the main top. We're ready to reconnect the power, and our repair is complete. I told you it was an easy job. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your repair.